thing is like my girlfriend and I started dating. Well, we knew each other in high school, and yet like she DM'd me one day.
Sounds like the story that I got my girlfriend too.
And
Okay.
which camera am I looking at?
You're looking at this one.
This is gonna be
Okay.
your camera. On
Your
here.
camera,
This is
both
the camera.
cameras, my camera.
All right, sweet.
Cool. 315. I read 426. Wait, what? What's that, Betty? How you doing, bro? Bam.
He says he's repping 426.
Yeah.
What's up, Lev?
I'm repping 619. You know what I mean?
What's up, Britt? Thanks for watching.
Pure shit.
Ready?
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Energy Podcast. My name is Brian Landeros. I am your host. And like always, if you haven't subscribed or follow us on Instagram and YouTube, what are you doing? Stop what you're doing right now and go. Unless you don't want to. It's your world. I'm just living in it. But anyways, today's guest, Chula Vista native, born and raised here in San Diego, graduated from Olympian High School. He is one of the top millennial realtors here in San Diego. He's head productivity coach at Keller Williams and my longtime friend. Ladies and gentlemen, my boy, Kevin M.
That is quite the intro. I
Yeah,
didn't
bro.
realize that you put all that together. That is great.
I know,
Thank
I like to do my little research here and there, give my guests a warm welcome, bro. But how you been, bro?
I've been awesome, man. Thanks
Dude.
for having me. I'm super excited.
Dude, I know. Besides the fact that we tried this like 3 times.
We did this like a year and a half ago before energy was ever a thing.
And it's crazy because I'm like, dude, like it's so cool seeing you come back and be like, yo, like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. But like, it's always a pleasure to have you, bro, and just shoot the shit with you, man. Like, I'm gonna cheers to that.
Cheers. 3 camera setups later, better mics, better headsets.
And
You're
we gotta
killing
actually
it,
have
man.
someone else
You're
that's
killing
controlling.
it. You're killing it.
Bro, nah, it's so cool having you. But dude, how's your day going? How's 2020 going so far?
2020 has been awesome. I mean, in business, relationships, friendships, health, I'm super blessed, man.
Yeah, can't complain, bro. Honestly. So, dude, starting off 2020, like, what's one of your your New Year resolutions for this year? Besides the Clippers winning the NBA Finals.
We already know that's gonna happen, right?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
No, definitely.
I think in personal, something that's really important to me is actually getting up to 200 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
That's something that I don't really put out publicly, but gaining weight is really important to me this
Dude,
year.
for sure, bro.
Yeah.
And I see you putting in work. I mean, Josh, you probably work out with Josh, huh? That motherfucker's huge.
I can't work out with Josh; he's too big.
Yeah, bro. I didn't even try. I'm not gonna embarrass myself like that. Not yet. But anyways, bro, for the people that don't know you, and that's very hard to believe, give us a little background, bro, to your story and how you've grown in your industry and life and all your aspects of what you're doing.
Cool. How deep are we getting here?
Deep, bro.
All right, sweet.
No holds bars, bro.
All right, so born and raised in Chula Vista, California, like Brian said. I am 25 years old. I'll be 26 this year. I am currently in the real estate industry, and I grew up playing sports. So you can see by my Clippers jersey, I've always been a sports fan. I grew up playing football, I grew up playing basketball. And then my 11th grade year, I had a really big turning point in my life. And it was at that time that my father, who was a breadwinner of our family, lost his job. We obviously had to move out of our house, lost most of our material possessions. My mother had to move to Mexico just to get affordable housing.
Yeah.
My father moved up to San Jose, where he was able to find work 8 months later. I had to move in with my best friend just to graduate high school. Right. And so I grew up pretty fast during that time period. And then that is really what catapulted me to start reading a lot, find a mentor, and then get into sales. And I started in network marketing, as you know. Selling skincare, and I had some success with it, and yet I wasn't personally using the product, which was interesting.
I always kind of wonder about that. Like, not just you, but in general, people that are network marketing, like, do they really like use the product themselves sometimes, or is it just you're such a good salesman that you just you could sell it?
Personally, I was selling people on a dream that was, hey, if you can get people within your sphere to also distribute this product to people who use it, because the product works. Maybe not for me, though it works for the women and the men that you were using it. Then you can have success in a sales business where there's no ceiling, and that kind of enlightened me to the idea of getting into sales. And I moved from that to mortgage loans.
Yeah, I remember
what I did. I did that for 2 years, and I just wasn't passionate about that, and so I happened to already be licensed as a real estate agent.
Okay, so you did it at the same time, or did you get it before?
No, so I actually, when I was in network marketing, I had gotten my real estate license with the intention of going into real estate first. All the while I was working at a bank as a teller and as a banker, with the anticipation that at some point I was going to go into real estate sales. Well, during that, I was still doing network marketing. I met with one of my best friends, presented him on the skincare product. He then went home that night, spoke to his mom, who was the branch manager for a mortgage company.
Okay.
She told me to meet her at Starbucks the next day. We met. I trusted her because I had grown up around her and her family and her son, obviously. And she said, hey, if you're willing to get your feet wet in the industry, I'll teach you everything that I know. And then you can go to real estate later if you don't enjoy it. And so that's how I got my start in real estate.
Nice. I mean, it's just crazy how, one thing leads to another. And that's, I feel, a barrier that a lot of people, and I don't know if you could relate, kind of hold themselves back because they don't know what's on the other side of the door. How nerve-wracking or, how anxious were you when you were taking the leap of faith essentially into a new industry that you didn't know if it was going to work out or not?
Do you remember homecoming freshman year?
Yes. Unfortunately, yeah. I'm like, I was like, wait, where are we going with this?
So for those of you who don't know, I'm not in the same graduating class as Brian. In fact, we didn't even go to the same high school.
I was like, wait, what?
But where I'm going with this is if anybody had gone to homecoming freshman year and you didn't have a girlfriend already,
right,
you knew the anticipation of having to go up to a woman to dance and to impress your friends. Right. And it was that unknown territory of maybe we didn't have middle school dances, or maybe we just weren't in past relationships, or maybe we weren't even attracted to, same or opposite sex at that time. And yet there was this sense of, I need to go do it to prove myself.
Yeah.
That's very
it's
much
that ego.
how I felt when I wanted to make that jump into an industry that was just unknown to me, right? It was the nervous and excited at the same time.
Yeah.
And then when everything starts happening and falling in place, the gratification is so much more than what you had expected it to be, because it was the belief, right?
Yeah.
It was the belief and just moving by faith and watching it all come in and happen for you.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. You never know what's going to be on the side, but if you believe and you put your energy into it, shit, good things happen. So moving a little forward, bro, you at the beginning of your real estate career to now, how much has changed and what steps have you taken? Because I mean, not gonna lie, bro, a lot of people look up to you, for motivation, inspiration, because honestly, you're doing it. You're not just saying it; you're actually putting the work behind it, and it shows. So at the beginning of your career, what got you geared up to be where you're at right now? Because a lot of people will say like, "Oh, what are you doing right now that I can do?" But in reality, it's like, well, what did you do before you got to where you're at right now?
That's good. So is the question, where was I before, or what has changed in that time?
Yeah. So what has changed in the time?
Moving from being a salesperson to a relationship-based individual.
Okay.
For
Yeah.
sure. When I got my start in real estate, I was on a team that was very successful here in Chula Vista, and they were known for doing a lot of business. And at the same time, it was all new business. So this is not necessarily our friends or family members who know us and trust us and like us and want to do business with us. It was more so people who we met out and about, whether that was at an open house or door knocking or at a real estate seminar or at the grocery store, at the gas station, right? So it was all new business. And so when I got my start, I was very transactional in the sense that I was looking to help as many people out to buy or sell a house. Yet I was looking at it as a sale. And so I was practicing my scripts and I was practicing my role play, and I was doing all the things that I should have been doing, right? I was going through the motions and I had some success. Yeah. And yet it wasn't until I started looking at people and looking at transactions as more of a relationship to when finally it clicked for me, right? It was at that point that I can then work through those relationships and have a trust that I didn't have before. Even though I can display the knowledge and the talent and the expertise and the past experience, I didn't have that deep-rooted relationship with people.
Right.
And until I had that was when my business really took off.
Dude, that's crazy. It's all about just being genuine with people. That's how I feel like the first thing I do is I always just kind of like read, recognize, and relate. It sounds simple, but like that's how you connect with people. And then based off of that, I'm able to know whether it's going to be a good relationship or, if it's going to be like, okay, I know where to put my boundaries.
And
in the sense of everything, not just, business.
relationships with people? How does one practice that?
I wouldn't say that one practices it. I would just say they become more aware of it, right? And this is in all things, not just real estate related. We have friends, we have family members, and I think that what has helped me was a lot of meeting with mentors, going to seminars, audiobooks, paperbacks, and really just becoming an active listener and taking a genuine interest in people rather than always wanting to share.
Oh, that's a big one. And I'm not gonna lie, I struggle with that sometimes because I'm all just like energy, just talk. But you're right. You understand more and you comprehend more when you just kind of like slow it down and just listen to the person. Then you're able to be more of value to them.
I have this ongoing joke of if you ever want to be friends with a real estate agent, all you have to do is ask them about them, and they'll walk out of that conversation thinking you are the most amazing person.
This is true.
Because real estate agents, I mean, they love to talk about themselves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so if you take that approach in your life with other people around you and really just people that you meet, if you just ask them about them, you'll be appalled how willing and open they'll be with someone like you.
No, yeah, definitely. And then on the contrary side of that, you kind of like asking them so much question also invites them to be like, okay, well, let me ask you about you without you having to say, what you do. Eventually I feel like, okay, enough about me. Let's talk about you. Mm-hmm. But then there's those realtors that know, like, let's just keep it all about me. No, but in general, I mean, it's kind of hard sometimes being able to just relate with anybody. So, I mean, listening key to what they say is actually like, the most important thing for me. And I've learned that because sometimes I miss stuff because, you didn't pay attention in detail.
And don't get me wrong, like I've studied personality assessments and how to obviously have a conversation with that specific type of personality type. And yet on the surface level of things, it's really just taking a genuine interest in people. Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. It sounds simple, but I mean, like, just even if you compliment someone genuinely, like I can't compliment your jersey, but
Okay, so you might not be able to compliment the front, but if you took a look at the back, it's actually my last name.
See, I can respect that now. Yeah, I can. Okay, now it's a cool jersey, bro. Nah, but hey, bro, you're also. I mean, I see that you're coaching also in the community. So you're coaching at Olympian still?
Yes, I'm the assistant defensive backs coach for the varsity football team at Olympian High School.
How has that been, man? I know we spoke a couple months back and you wanted to get into coaching and then now you're doing it. So it's kind of like, whoa, like what's that like?
Yeah. Well, let me back up because I came out publicly last year about wanting to be a football coach in the National Football League at some point in my future, right? And so I kind of put that out into the universe, and it was funny how I got so much feedback from people who I maybe were friends with, though weren't necessarily too close with. And they were like, hey, I have friends who coach at USD and SDSU and friends who coach at San Diego High School. And it came down to actually me meeting with, you know who Jamal Williams is, the ex-Charger?
Yeah.
Well, his younger brother had reached out to me, and he was looking to get into real estate.
Oh, dope.
And at that time, he obviously knew that I was a real estate coach, and he said, hey, if you help me, I'll help you. So we set a time where we could meet, and I talked to him about what he needed to do to get into the real estate industry, and then he proceeded to tell me who I needed to speak with if I wanted an entry-level position on the college level. Now, for me, I also coach real estate agents, and I operate my own real estate business. And so my time is obviously devoted to that. And then I have, a girlfriend and a family and all of those things. And so my time was very limited. And so there was only so much that I could give. So I didn't really feel prepared to coach on the college level quite yet. So what I did is I went back to my high school, Olympian, and I asked them if they had any availability.
Right.
And they said that there was a volunteer position available. And if I, stayed with the program, then I could move up and do those things. And so that's kind of how all of that happened. But to answer your question, it's been an amazing experience because I've never been on the other side of things.
Right.
I grew up playing football. I was always a leader. I was always a captain. Yet I've never been on the side of having to coach people. And I think the people who have played sports or have played football, they realize it's so much of a mental game as it is a physical game.
Sometimes even more mental than physical.
Right.
Yeah.
And there had been times this season where we had been down 21 points. And rather than focusing on teaching my players technique, I'm talking to them about being level-headed, right? Emotional intelligence comes first. And if you can be in a place where you're at peace and you're focused, then there's a chance that we can come back.
The mental clarity.
But if you're not, we're done.
Yeah. Yeah, you lose the fight before you're even in it.
Yeah.
And,
No, yeah,
you have
definitely.
Patience to withstand, a huge roster like that.
Yeah.
Right, and then high school kids as well.
You're dealing with a lot of different personalities. You're dealing with kids who
So
aren't going to play.
much.
They're not going to play on the next level, most of them.
How's it
Our
been since
egos
you-
and just different people that are just used to, different
How's it
like
been
ways of
since
teaching.
you
Yeah.
were also doing this
Yeah, because I mean, and I'm pretty sure you can agree that there's some kids that are just shitheads that you're just kind of like, dude, come on.
Well, they're just there because they like the idea of
Yeah.
being on a football team and being around an environment of guys who that they can have camaraderie with. But they're never really going to be one of the top tier players there, and so because of that, they might get more easily distracted or not really care as much.
So you being a sports player your whole life, how has that helped you, with your business and your life?
I would say teamwork for sure is the number one thing. Growing up playing sports, you're taught a lot of different things like discipline, obviously, consistency.
Yeah.
Having to show up as a leader is another one. So in my business today, I get the opportunity to coach real estate agents, and I would say that I'm able to be a better coach on the real estate side because of the discipline that I learned while in sports growing up, of having to be in the weight room or show up on time, and teach other players while I was in Pop Warner football what to do when they didn't get that prior experience. And that now shows up on the real estate side because I get to work with agents who are brand new into the industry.
Yeah.
They don't realize the importance of being punctual. They don't realize the importance of being consistent. They just think that it's going to come easy and it's going to come naturally.
It's like, I got my real estate license. I make my own schedule. Where's my clients at?
So I think that those things, they translate.
Yeah. No, definitely. And so you worked on a team, and now you're, basically building your own team or, solo agent. How has, what you learned working with team hands-on, transferring to now you being on your own?
Shout out Anthony.
Yeah, shouts out Anthony and all the team hands-on.
I credit them with everything, man. I attest all my success to what Anthony and the team have taught me. Reggie and Anthony really took me in as somebody who was a brand new real estate agent and showed me how to lead generate, how to be consistent. And I always joke and I always say that I was on the military team of real estate because they're militant in their structure. They're militant. We were there every single day at 8:30.
You're like a platoon.
Yeah. And we were there, well, because there was a lot of us.
Right.
But we were there every day at 8:30, and we didn't leave unless we had appointments until 5.
Okay.
And I think that that's the biggest challenge that real estate agents have, and even outside of real estate that people have, is that you have to devote a certain amount of energy and effort, not necessarily time, although time usually is a byproduct of those two things. But you have to devote a certain amount of energy and effort into whatever it is that you want to be successful in. And I thank Anthony and Reggie in that because they showed me that it's about following a schedule, not about selling real estate.
Right.
And so I'm very intentional about my time. If you look at my calendar on my phone, you'll see that
I've
everything
seen
is time blocked out.
Yeah.
I mean, from the time in which I'm going to wake up to my getting dressed, the commute, going to certain appointments, this podcast, going to the gym, everything is time blocked. And if it's not in my calendar, it doesn't exist. And it's probably not going to happen.
Right.
So
I mean,
I thank them
goes
for
hand in hand.
That's the one thing that I'm super grateful for.
No, that's that goes key. A lot of people don't have that time structure, and they go all over the place, and they wonder where did all my time go. Well, you weren't intentional with your time, so that's where your time went.
Yeah.
Is this something just on work days, or is this pretty much every single day as far as, like, not the basic Monday to Fridays, but also weekends?
Yeah, on Sundays, you'll see it's like Chargers versus Kansas City Chiefs from 1:05 to 4:05. Like, it's every
he's not
single
playing
day.
around.
Every single day.
Bathroom breaks.
If it goes to overtime, yeah, you have
not
to you have to allot certain time for that.
It's like the DVR version, the DVR where you add an extension to it just in case.
All right, so I mean, we're getting around, I feel like, to the sweet spot where the millennials are, at least in our age group, are starting to come out of the hole and start, asking questions about purchasing a home or even getting into real estate. Where would you say that the start line for, coming up with the plan to buy a house, where would you begin if you don't know what to do?
It's a good question. I would say it starts with you guys on the mortgage side.
Right.
Shout out Mortgage Heroes. I think Brian Landeros and his team has your guys' back, and I'm not just plugging him because I'm here, but the reality is that most people don't take the first step most of the time for 3 reasons. Number 1, they think that they have to have perfect credit.
Yeah.
Number 2, they think they have to have a large income.
Not
And
necessarily.
And then number 3, they think that they need a down payment.
Not always.
So credit, down payment, and income are usually the 3 factors that hold people back. So what I would say is that meet with a loan officer first, so that way you know what you're comfortable paying monthly and where you qualify.
Yeah.
Because A, it's free. B, there is no negative implications to meeting with a loan officer and finding out.
Nope.
And then C, you leave with so much more clarity and education than when you walk
That's
through
what I
those
tell
doors.
people. It's like going to the doctors and getting checked up. You
Right.
leave knowing exactly what's wrong or what you need to do to get better.
Right. And as much as we want to say that you need 2 years work history and you need this credit score and you need to have X amount of income to debt, those things are true. And in this industry, there are exceptions.
Yeah,
right.
definitely.
If you're overqualified in a certain area, then we can use that as a compensating factor. So I would say it all just starts with meeting with a mortgage loan officer and getting a game plan. And then when you are ready, then talk to a real estate agent, start looking at houses. And who knows, maybe you decide at that time that you don't want to pull the trigger, and that's fine.
And that's what I tell a lot of people. I'm like, at the time that you're looking to buy, you got to make sure that it makes sense for you at that moment. And if it doesn't, you're not pushed to do it at all. Save it for later for when you are ready. But, just getting in the know, like you said, is the first step. And I think, a lot of people should come out for it and get to know that a lot more people could buy than they think.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say is something that separates you from other realtors? And I only say that because I was actually talking to Xavier about it the other day. Where like, well, as a loan officer, you kind of have more tools under your belt. You could beat out a rate. You could lower your fees here and there. As a real estate agent, you really, really got to provide an extra amount of value because, what are you going to show people the same houses that are on the market? So how would you say you differentiate yourself from other people in the industry?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's something that I push my coaching clients to develop a elevator pitch per se, right? But for me, I think the biggest advantage people have to working with me is a number of things. The first being that I have experience in the mortgage industry. So if you have questions regarding the financing, likely I'll be able to provide that answer on the spot rather than waiting and having to get in touch with the mortgage loan officer. The second thing is it's very easy today to find a home online.
Yeah,
whether it's
iBuyers
Zillow,
everywhere.
Redfin, Trulia, Realtor.com. Most people can find the home that they're looking for online. So hiring a buyer's agent at some point in the future is going to become irrelevant. Though where you need a buyer's agent is in a couple areas. Number one, to help you find properties that are not yet on the market. So what I do is I have an approach that I take where I market to homeowners in certain areas where my buyers are interested in purchasing it. So when I meet with them, I ask them, what location do you want to buy in? What price and how big of a home do you need? We talk about specifics. Then once we've identified an area, I then go into that neighborhood, door knock those doors, call those homeowners, mail them letters to let them know that I have somebody interested in purchasing that home. So that way I can create that opportunity rather than waiting for it to come onto the market.
Yeah, I definitely see that.
The second piece to that is when you get into negotiation, how experienced is your agent? Because right now, as we know, homes are flying off the market. If they're priced right and they're in good condition, they're gone. So how many relationships do you have with other agents to where if there are 4 offers on the table, yet I have an existing relationship with that agent, they know how I do business and they know that I'm going to return the favor later. As long as we're the highest price and doing the best for their seller and doing the best for our buyer, we're going to make that deal happen.
Definitely.
So I think that there's a number of things that I could go into, but for the sake of keeping it short, I would say those 2 are the most important.
No, and those definitely, I could see those standing out because you're doing above and beyond. Some agents either just look whatever's on the internet and just throw that back, but you go above and extra, bro. And that's something that, your clients deserve because you're putting yourself out there and, like you said, creating the opportunity, not just, hoping that it lands on your feet.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, if you wanted to purchase a home, you could essentially do it without an agent.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You'd be in trouble when you get into escrow and you get into negotiation, but finding the home, you could probably do that
most
online.
likely. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like real estate, just like entrepreneurship, is like a big boom right now. And there's a lot of people getting into like, wholesale and real estate investing. What are your thoughts on, people, online portraying that it's so easy to just jump into the industry and being able to just kill it?
Oh,
because I mean, they make it seem so easy nowadays, like, like wholesale and all real estate investing. I see it all over advertising and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can get yourself into a lot of trouble just jumping into an industry that you're unfamiliar with. And I say that in the sense that I don't necessarily enjoy it being this way, but we live in California, which is the land of the lawsuit. And if you don't abide by the rules and you do things your way without knowing how to do them the right way, you can find yourself in a big hole of trouble. So I would say if somebody's looking to jump into the real estate industry, absolutely 100% believe in yourself, take that leap of faith and go for it. And attach yourself to a mentor who has done it and has a good track record. Because if you don't, you can, solicit people who are behind on their payments and look to get their home under contract for drastically under market value and then sell it to an investor and make a $20,000 commission. And that sounds all nice and dandy until you actually sell the house for $50,000 under asking price. And then the sellers find out 3 months later, and then they go to sue you because you didn't disclose that it was $50,000 under market value. Disclose. So I would say attach yourself to a mentor early on, learn as much as you can, and don't take shortcuts, because shortcuts are ultimately going to come back and bite you in the butt.
So you've been talking a lot about mentorship. A lot of people either, they feel that going to college or going to school is, the secure route. But sometimes even, like you said, getting a mentor helps you out the most. How would you know if you need a mentor opposed to just going to school?
Yeah, it's a good question. I would ask, are you breathing? Because in all things you need a mentor, right? If there's a reason why people hire trainers at the gym is because that individual is going to see things in your blind spot where you couldn't see them. And we don't know what we don't know. And in all other areas of our life, if we don't have a mentor, then our ceiling is right at the top of our head, meaning that you're not going to grow. And you can do a lot of self-education. I'm a huge advocate of self-education, yet you can also self-educate in the wrong things. And so I would say have somebody who has experience in that field so they can tell you where you need to get educated in. So that way your growth opportunity is multiplied 10s, 20s, hundreds of times more than if you took it on yourself.
No, and that's nuggets right here, guys, honestly, because if you go out and do it on your own, either going to take you longer or you're going to fail and give up on your own hustle. And that's like, you don't want to do that when there's resources out there.
Yeah.
How would you say social media has impacted and influenced you in your business, bro?
Ooh, I love these questions. I like social media a lot, and I can get myself in trouble with social media because
that was good, bro.
I am still working on being more of a creator than I am a consumer, and I spend so much time consuming things on social media. It's crazy. I can look at like cooking videos.
Dude, you took it right out of my mouth. I was going to say I get lost like an hour just in fucking cooking videos.
It's insane. But did you ask how it benefit me or my business?
Yeah, both life and business.
Well, no, number one, motivation, right? You see people in your field or doing things that you enjoy doing, and you aspire to have the things that they have or do the things that they're doing. And so number one is motivation, and be careful when it comes to motivation, because that can turn into envy quick. And then number two would be exposure, right? I have the benefit of having people reach out to me and inquire about wanting to either join my team, which I don't have a real estate team, though I coach real estate agents, or work with me, whether that be buying, selling, investing. And then another thing is like my girlfriend and I started dating. Well, we knew each other in high school, and yet like she DM'd me one day.
Sounds like the story that I got my girlfriend too.
And that's how that relationship started. And so I would say how close we are in touch with one another and how easily accessible we are. That's a huge, huge advantage that we have today that our parents and their parents didn't have. And so I'm super grateful for the opportunity that we have, the platform that we have, and it benefits me both in personal and in business for sure.
No, yeah, definitely. Exposure. So this year, bro, and towards, the middle of last year, you started doing a lot more videos. When we talked about it, how has, doing more content, how do you like that, bro? Because I feel like, videos it's not going anywhere. How have you enjoyed making new, content pieces?
I love it. I look forward to it. We got 3 cameras rolling right now, and I'm super comfortable, and it didn't start there.
You know what I mean?
Think about we have 5.
Yeah.
Oh,
at
yeah,
one
we
point.
actually have 5. Yeah, that's true. I'll say I really enjoy teaching and coaching, and that's where it starts, right? It's like I don't do video because I think I'm the most handsome guy in the room, or because I think that
Yeah, he does.
I don't. And yet I do it because I get to, Brian's the most handsome guy. He knows it.
You don't know that.
He's already on his second White Claw. I do it because we get to educate and teach people. And I have people from Florida, I have people from New York, I have people from Arizona and Nevada that reach out to me and they say, thank you. That's what I needed today. And it wasn't a motivational piece, it was an educational piece. And they got to learn something. And it wasn't something that I created or that I made up. It was something that was taught to me. And so for me, it's more of just paying it forward.
Yeah.
The reason why I love videos, because if you look at communication as a whole, and we talk about percentages, well, 55% of communication is body language, right? What am I doing with my arms? How is my body moving? What is my face saying? And then 38% is tonality. How is my voice fluctuating? Am I talking very fast? Is my volume high? Is my volume low? And only 7% is words. So people often get caught up in what do I need to say? And I would argue, how do you need to say it? And what is your body saying when you're saying those things? And I love video because you get all the components.
Yeah.
Right? Text, you're only getting words. That's why sometimes people think that we're mad
no
when we
emotions.
text them.
No emoji?
But really,
Dude, my girlfriend's pissed.
Right. Yeah, exactly. No emoji, and they think that you're upset with them. So text, there's no tonality and there's no body language.
Exactly.
Phone call, all you get is tonality and words.
Yeah.
So that's 55% of communication is missing. When you do video, though,
You're giving everything.
you get the entire experience.
Yeah.
And that's why I enjoy doing video the most.
It's just the easier way of communication.
Oh, by far. And that's why FaceTime took off, right?
Oh, dude, crazy. Now you freaking group tape FaceTime? Jesus Christ, dude, it's so horrible. I hate jumping on those in my group message. Jesus. So before we head out, move to the next topic, bro. If anybody's looking to get in the industry and they want to work with you, where could they go see you? Or where could they reach you?
I would visit my Instagram at kevin.ehm. E as in Evan, H as in Harold, M as in Mary, pronounced just like the letter M. Reach out to me on Instagram because that's probably the easiest way to get to me other than texting me at 619-838-9547. And I would say that if you're having thoughts about getting into the industry, there is not a better time than today unless you started yesterday. The reason being is because it doesn't matter where the market is. Whether we're in an up market, a down market, you're going to get different experiences in every market. And you're never going to be prepared to jump in. I promise you that. It doesn't matter how much money you have saved in the bank. It doesn't matter how much pressure you're getting from your peers or your parents. You're never going to be 100% ready. So just jump in sooner rather than later and learn as much as you can early.
All right, last one. What's your output and your perspective for the market this year?
So I was having this great conversation with somebody who I really look up to in the industry, and he actually taught me what household formation means. And basically what household formation is, and I'm going to answer your question, is they look at how many individuals are still living at home and the average time in which they actually move out. Now, it doesn't state whether they're going to be buying or renting, and it also considers who's going to be dying. And so we want to know, that's kind of how we gauge where the market's headed. We can look at other factors such as employment. We can look at other factors such as, this year in particular, we're seeing an election year. Naturally, we see a lot of volatility in election years.
Yeah.
So there's so many other components. To go back and answer your question, after I had that talk with this individual, even though the millennials, who is the largest group, demographic, whatever you call it, in the United States right now, even though they are holding off on buying, it's very likely that this upcoming year, 2020, 2021, we're still going to see an increase in home values. The reason why? Demand. We live in San Diego, where people come here for the weather, they come here for the beach, and they come here for the military. We're a melting pot of different types of individuals from different areas across the world. The reality is that more people come to San Diego than leave San Diego. Why? Because it's beautiful. The weather, the beach, and the weather, the beach, and the military.
You were going to say coaching?
Right?
Nah.
I was going to say coaching because the coaching program's obviously awesome. But because of that, we're having more people coming to San Diego than we can build homes, which is another reason why we're building up and not out, because we're just running out of space. That's why we're seeing gentrification in areas like Logan Heights. right? Because there's no more housing available in downtown, so they're moving into other affordable areas where those
Golden
Hill,
Yeah,
all of those areas, Bankers Hill. And we're going to see those values continue to trend up because of that demand.
Yeah.
So I'm a firm believer that 2020 and 2021, even though we are going to see a little bit of volatility, ultimately you're going to see your value higher 2 years from now than you do today.
Nice. Shoot, that's freaking gold right there.
Yeah.
So, switching subjects, bro. I know you're always hustling. You're always, your work ethic is probably one of the highest that I've ever seen in anybody. But who are you outside of real estate, bro? What do you do? What's your hobbies? What does Kevin do on a weekend? Like, are you like to chill with your buddies? You like to just, sit at home by yourself? Like, tell us a little bit about that.
What's on the calendar for this week?
You know what I mean? Hey, do you have a calendar that says like, yo, this is my free time? Like, pick from these that I could fill in.
So I'm a huge craft beer drinker.
Okay.
I love doing that. One of my vices is hookah. I love smoking hookah. Shout out Art Hookah in downtown. Those are two things that I really enjoy doing. I just went to Big Bear this past weekend on Sunday. I love to snowboard. I obviously love sports, so weightlifting, playing basketball are two of the things that I do regularly. Probably go to the gym like 5 days a week, play basketball like 2 or 3 times a week. So those are some of my hobbies. And then when it comes to like hanging out with friends, I'm your average 25-year-old, right? I, still go to El Camino on Saturdays and have fun with my friends.
So do I, bro. I was just American Junkie past weekend.
So I still do those things, and I know that I have to also be aware of how much time I'm spending in those areas. And so, to answer your question, I love to snowboard. I love to play basketball. I love to lift weights. I obviously coach football. And so if I could play football, which I'm not going to because I'll hurt myself and I couldn't make it onto a college team right now in my condition. Yet those are the things that I really enjoy doing. And then obviously watching sports, I love it.
I could honestly see, if, after coaching, you could definitely be on ESPN and I could be watching you being like a sports analyst or something like that. I could so see you doing that.
Hopefully coaching rather than being an analyst. Though.
Yeah, that's what I said. Maybe after, I don't know what I'm saying.
I have to ask, favorite brewery in San Diego?
Favorite brewery in San Diego? So I would probably say Hamilton's. South Park? Hamilton's Tavern in South Park is probably my favorite. Bottlecraft is a microbrewery in Little Italy. It's one that I go to pretty often. Those two would probably be my favorite.
Nice.
Hey, what advice would you give to people that, have a hard time balancing that, social life and their career and business life?
And I have a follow-up question after that.
Cool.
I would say that you're human, and just like anything else, you need to be intentional with your time, and you need to be intentional with where you're spending it. So just understand that you have to both. There's no such thing as balance in my world.
Right.
What there is there's counterbalance. And what I mean by that is you need to invest as much time and energy as where you see best fit for you. Mm-hmm. And maybe that means that you're giving 90% of your time this week to your relationship because last week you didn't give it enough. And maybe that means that you're giving 90% of your energy this week to your business because last week you didn't give it enough. And so I don't think that we'll ever be in this perfect realm of having this balanced life. We're always going to struggle with how much time we invested in one area versus the other. And yet if you're aware of it and you take a time to either journal or just sit back and meditate and mentally think about what area did I falter in this week that I could do better in? And what area did I overachieve in that it would be okay if I pumped the brakes a little bit?
That's fucking a great way to put it, bro.
Mm-hmm. As far as when it comes, obviously not balancing everything out, but doing so many different things, how do you know when and what to post into your social media page? What do you like to share with your viewers rather than, I'm not sure, do you have 2 different pages?
I just have one.
You just have one? Mm-hmm. Okay, so how do you micromanage everything as far as, do I want to post this? Do I not?
Yeah. I'm definitely improving that area. I could be a lot better. One of my close friends who's very successful in social media told me to do a better job of documenting my day, which is for the first time in a long time, I'm going live and I have a couple people that are viewing this right now. Mm-hmm. That was uncomfortable to me, just as it is uncomfortable to the other individuals that are probably watching this right now.
Sometimes.
Hopefully not, just documenting whatever it is that you're doing. Like last night, for instance, my girlfriend had made a comment about me a couple weeks back, and she was like, "Oh, you're looking small," and I was like, taking offense to that. I was like,
dude,
I'm gaining weight right now.
That one hurt. That's
Chill.
like you're getting at my manhood right there.
Yeah, I'm using my man card, and so I was like, I've been taking this weight gainer that I've been struggling to drink because it's so thick and so heavy. Yep. It's like 1,200 calories.
Jesus.
And I just documented, me putting protein into my cup and into the blender, and then with the text of like, hey, my girl called me small, and so.
But that's fucking hilarious.
So this should do. But the reality is that you're just documenting whatever it is that you're doing. If you're at the gym or you're in an appointment, if you're having a podcast, whatever it is that you're doing, just document it, because people want to take interest into your life, whether you have this massive following or no following. If people are on your page, they are on it because they're taking interest into your life. And I promise you that if you make your life a TV series, meaning that you're consistent in posting every single day, often, which you do a great job of, by the way.
Thank you.
People are going to want to see that. They're going... The pimple thing.
Okay. Oh, great. Shout out Greg the Pimple.
I was following this guy's Instagram for a week because I wanted to see how long his freaking pimple would last.
It lasted a whole good week. I brought it to work and fucking school with me all the time.
That's the thing, is like, it doesn't matter how ridiculous it is. If it's entertaining or it educates, people eat it up, man.
And to follow up to that, bro, everybody in a sense, if you're consistent at your posting, you're a micro influencer, meaning that a lot of people will look up to you more because they can relate to you because you're closer to them than that big famous person. And they'll look up to you more because you're like, hey, that person is just like me. I can do it if they can do it. And in that sense, bro, you influence and, motivate so many other people to do whatever they want to do because, hey, they can do it too. We can all do it. We're all human.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Relatable.
Yeah, it's all relatable. And, once you put yourself out there, you stop caring. A lot of people will follow that energy. And a lot of people will follow that because, they don't have it themselves. But by you being there every day, you give them that, that
I agree.
empowerment to, for them to be able to do it themselves. You have a dog, bro.
A handsome one, by the way.
That's the most handsome dog I've seen, bro. He wins it for sure, dude. So yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead. Tell us about your dog, bro, and your relationship with your pup, bro.
Yeah. So my dog was born on September 23rd, which is 2 days before my birthday.
Oh, that's so cute.
And he is everything to me in the sense that, like, there isn't a joy in the world other than obviously spending time with my girlfriend and my family.
Yeah.
That you can get other than owning a golden retriever.
Oh, you're putting it out there like golden retriever.
So
that dog.
So this guy, I probably got him when he was too young. Like, he was a little malnourished. Like, I think I spent like $1,300 just in deworming and getting him his shots early on.
Best investment.
But it was the best investment I could have made. Because every day that I come home, that little guy's tail is going so crazy with his tongue coming out of his mouth.
Just waiting for you to cuddle.
He's the biggest cuddle bug anybody can ask for. That's awesome. It's so cool because even though he's a little over a year, because I think he was the runt of the pack, and because of like the medical stuff early on in his life, he's a smaller golden retriever.
Oh, he's a fun-sized retriever.
So he's a fun-sized retriever. So the cuddles are even better.
Dude.
And this guy, he gives me like so much joy, even on my worst days. I know that I can always go home or take him to the park or take him to the beach, and he's always going to have this energy that I can depend on and I can pull from. So if you guys are like when they say money can't buy happiness, money could buy a golden retriever. That's almost the exact same thing. I promise you. Like,
hey, I'm gonna make sure we clip this one out and give it to you, bro. Dude, dude. Having a dog. I mean, I share a dog with my cousin.
I didn't get the name.
His name's Barkley, and I named him after Saquon Barkley. So I took him to the office on the first day that I got him because I was so excited. So I took him to the office, and some of my team members were there, and I was like, what should I name him? And he's just this little run dog, and my friends are like giving me a bunch of names. They're like, who's your best player on your fantasy football team? And I'm like, well, I got two.
Matt Barkley.
Imagine, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago on the college level. So I had Ezekiel Elliott and I had Saquon Barkley, who are my best players. And so they were like Zeke, and I was like, ooh, I like Zeke. And then my friends were like Saquon, and I was like, I don't really like Saquon. But they were like Barkley, and I was like,
Barkley.
That's it.
That's it.
Barkley. because you see so many golden retrievers with like Bailey, and I think that's such a fitting name. But I thought Barkley was like, oh, that's like the
That just
best
hits.
of both worlds. That's it.
Barkley, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Well, what dog parks do you like to take him to the most?
Balboa is probably my favorite because it's just so big
Yeah.
and he can run. And my second favorite is Otay Ranch Mall
Nice.
because it's convenient
Yeah.
and he doesn't get as dirty. Whereas at Balboa, it's like mostly dirt. And my dog is super submissive. Like he's not the alpha dog.
He's like,
He's
"Come
the
cuddles."
beta. So even when little puppies come up to him, he just rolls over and he's just submissive and he just lets them like bite him. So I like it because he doesn't get as dirty at Otay and it's more convenient. But I like Balboa because of the scenic and because of it's more open.
You've been to the one in Bonita, right?
Oh yeah, I actually went to the one in Bonita probably like 2 weeks ago. They just opened it not too long ago, and
Roy Park?
yeah, Roy Park. So they sectioned that whole part. It's like two, one for like smaller dogs, one for bigger dogs, and it's actually really nice because it's just a whole bunch of grass for the dogs to run. They have a nice little playground for the dogs, and it's just cool bringing your dog and just doggies hanging out with doggies, and you're just kind of like, damn, like it's like us, but like at the bars, but like for dogs.
Now, I'll have to take them. Speaking of us at bars, I want to take him to Hamilton's because I always see like really cool dogs in there.
Dude.
But I want to take him in there because he'll just be like an attention dog in there, dude.
He's gonna cross the street to Buena Fortuna and eat all the food, so be careful.
Dude, I love how it's just so much more culturally acceptable to bring your dog anywhere.
Right.
Like, it's like, I feel like dogs sometimes are more like, you know, you take care of it more than you would your kid.
Yeah, what's up, Keller Williams Chula Vista? We're going to allow dogs in there.
Right? That's what I'm saying. It's so therapeutic. Like, you know, you're having a stress day, go to the puppy room.
Come on, man. All the renovations we've been doing, all the changes, and yet we still not allowing dogs in there? Come on now.
Dude, so, speaking about renovations, what you guys got going on over there?
Oh, man. We've had a ton of things change. I think the most exciting one is our comp plan.
Nice.
Most people know that Keller Williams Chula Vista now is 100% brokerage, which is super exciting because agents want to keep all of their commission.
Yup.
And so aside from us renovating the entire office as far as cubicles and office spaces and workspace, it's very much of a loungy Starbucks feel. And it's super modern, super chic, somewhere you want to be. There's great parking. But the biggest attractor is number one, the culture, number two, the training, and number three, the comp plan.
No, definitely. You guys have a, like, honestly, support-wise, you guys honestly kill it and give all your agents the tools to succeed.
It's a great brokerage, and I'm a huge advocate, and I'm not just saying that because I'm the coach there. Or maybe
Selling, not selling. Dude, so who's one of your biggest influences or motivators? You know, it doesn't have to be famous. It doesn't have to be anybody successful. Just someone that you genuinely like, yo, this person motivates me to be better, or just go out there and you always, you know, hustle.
Someone who I learned from a lot is probably Brennan Burchard. And he's an author. He's a personal development speaker. Brennan Burchard.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I really get a lot from him because he focuses on emotional intelligence. So I pull a lot from him. Motivation wise, I would say I probably get that more from, that's tough. I probably pull it from a lot of different things. Number one is the social media stuff, right? A lot of people who are on there that I look up to. When I see them succeeding, I know that it's possible for me. There isn't one person in particular that I can say that really motivates me. I've been through a lot of shit, man.
Yeah.
Like I had a really tough upbringing, and that event motivates me more than any one person or thing.
And it goes, you know, I mean, it doesn't have to be a person. It could be a life situation. And I could definitely agree with you on that one. Yeah. So it's not always a person, but maybe an event in life that changed the way that you saw things, that kind of just lit that fire in you.
Like you have things that trigger you, right?
Yeah,
positively or negatively. Maybe
Definitely.
it's a song that you hear where you had, you know, an ex-girlfriend that you would always sing that song with, and now when it comes on, you feel some type of way about it.
La canción. Nah.
And it's the same thing for me is that life experience, right?
Yeah.
I remember the pit that I was in when I was going through that, and I can always trigger myself to be more motivated or to get back into action and be more consistent when I think of that life again. I'll never accept a life like that again.
Right. It's non-negotiable. Hey, what are your thoughts on crying?
So those who know me know that I'm actually very emotional.
Because, you know, like I opened up last night on my the podcast. I was like, dude, I sometimes cry, and it's not because I'm sad. It's just because I bundled up all this gratitude and all this like thankfulness I have for shit that's happened to me, and I'm just kind of like, tear.
I'm the guy who cries in movies.
Dude, so much, bro. And I'm watching the movie, and I'm like, yo, am I really feeling this? Like, am I about to tear up? And then I'm watching the movie with my girlfriend or my cousin, and I'm like, yo, check it out, I'm about to cry.
And it's on and off though. Like there will be times where
I'm like, don't do it.
Yeah, there will be times where I'm like, just cold stone. You're not going to get any emotion out of me.
Yeah.
And
okay.
then randomly, some days I'll be driving to the office at like 8 a.m. and I'll be listening to a podcast that hits, and I'll just start crying.
Dude, fuck yeah, that does it for me too. I'm just like, Jesus. But it's not. You're not crying because you're sad or you're dreading something. It's just like those emotions, bro. They're so powerful.
Yeah.
And once you're able, I feel like, do you ever use past emotions or past thoughts that, you know, made you feel really good, or you remember a time that you were excelling at one point in your life and you kind of use those as, you know, pick-me-ups to kind of just draw back on that emotion, how you felt back then, to get you going on that time in present time?
Maybe, although I don't know of one specific time. And I think has to do a lot with that people are motivated for two reasons: to move towards pleasure, move away from pain. I'm definitely the type of person who likes to move away from pain rather than move towards pleasure. Things that I think of, like a Rolex or a G-Wagon or a house on the beach, those things don't really propel me to get more consistent. It's looking back on the hard times that propel me to be more consistent. So there may be things that, like a song, like I said, like a certain song that when I was growing up, I was always in a good place or had a good experience when that was happening, or maybe even a scent, because my mom loved to do candles.
I know that.
Maybe there's a certain scent or a certain sound that I can draw from that'll put me in a better state, though I don't use it as a mechanism to be more consistent or propel me forward.
No, that makes perfect sense, bro. Okay. So we're about to get into my favorite part of the podcast. It's called the lightning round. And these are a set of questions that I haven't seen, you haven't seen, only Marcos knows. And it could be anything, honestly, at this point. So, you're up for it?
By the way, there might have been a question you already answered.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, drink a White Claw, you might need it.
All right.
Jesus, here we go.
Done deal.
Anything you want to say before we hit this? Because nothing's going to be the same after.
Let's do it.
All right. All right. Question number 1, ladies and gentlemen. At which store would you like to max out your credit card?
Nike.
Yeah, that was easy, bro. I love when people just answer it right off the bat, like if you were waiting for it. Choose a movie title for the story of your life.
Tested.
Nice. What if anything, have you ever wait, what?
What, if anything?
What, if anything, have you ever regifted?
A Massage Envy gift card, and I'm not proud of it.
Oh, shit. Do you want to talk about that?
No.
Where and when did you have your first kiss? McMillan.
Wow. Probably. And I think it was right by Breezewood Park. It was right by Breezewood Park, and we were in elementary school.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I had an older brother, and so I got to see him kiss a lot of women, so I was inspired early to get into that.
What are 3 things still left on your bucket list?
3 things still left on my bucket list. Well, for this year, it's travel to Hawaii,
Nice.
travel to the Philippines, and not one that's for this year would be to hold a event where I give back to the homeless, because as much as I'm a huge advocate of that, I haven't had the opportunity to do it.
Nice.
So I guess that could be for this year, because I don't think that that's something out of the realm of possibility.
If you want to connect on that one, I'm down to do something with that one, because I help out at certain like events. We do pull up and eat, which we partnered up with a company. Well, my friends did, when we just kind of like help donate money and stuff like that, or help out and just kind of pass out food. And we give out every last Tuesday of the month. We just pull up, get pizza, food, anything, and just pull up chairs right there downtown and just feed the homeless.
I'm down with that, dude.
It's
Set
really
that
cool,
up.
bro. It's just different, but yeah, definitely we'll link up on that. Guilty pleasure song at the moment.
Guilty pleasure. Ooh, Yummy by Justin Bieber.
Dude, you would.
I'm a big Bieber fan, dude.
So,
I've always been a Bieber fan.
Little backstory. My best friend, Eric Vega, you know him.
Yeah.
So we were at Coachella, and, we were watching Ariana Grande, and towards the end of her performance, she brought out Justin Bieber. And we were already walking out. We're leaving. We're like, we're done. And everybody's all walking. And all of a sudden, you hear Justin Bieber. I look back. My boy.
Shirt off, jumping up and down.
Dude, no. Takes his shirt off, turns around, doesn't even say anything. Hits a fucking sprint, bro. 40-yard sprint, bro. Lost him in the crowd. He went in there, and then we didn't see him back to the campground. He's like, that was the best performance ever. He dyed his hair pink.
I saw that.
He dyed his hair pink, bro. That's how I know he's all about it.
That was me for J Balvin last year.
Okay. J Balvin actually puts on a really good show, bro.
It was really good.
Dude, by far one of my favorite performances.
Weekend 1, Coachella.
Are you going this year?
This year, yeah.
Oh, shit. I'm going weekend 2. Look at me that look now. Have you ever written a song or a poem about someone else?
No. I'm not creative. I'm really not a creative type. When it comes to poems and songs, like I would fail miserably.
Nice, me too. That's why I just talk, bro, and just hopefully it makes sense.
You give me instruction, I'm really, really good at that. You tell me to create the instructions, and we're in trouble.
Makes sense. Hey, one thing's for the others, dude. This one's not on here. I'm going to just ask this one. So, I mean, we see every day constantly people showing content on social media, Facebook, everywhere. Who would you say in our industry is the most creative, and whose content do you like watching the most?
Jose Alvarado.
Oh yeah,
Your
for
social
sure.
media
For sure. Yeah, we've been talking. I'm gonna get him back on the podcast. He's been doing a lot of cool stuff, so I definitely want to, touch bases with him again. Hey, shouts out your social media, dude.
Shout out Jose,
dude,
You're
for
awesome,
sure.
Man.
He is,
You're super creative.
And he's a genuine guy, down to earth, and he's just always willing to just share what he knows, dude. It's crazy.
He is an amazing human being.
Shouts out, definitely. Amazon or eBay?
Amazon.
Apple or Spotify?
Apple.
Iced coffee or hot coffee?
Iced coffee.
When you're having a bad day, what do you...
answered that already.
Yeah, it's true, man.
It's his dog.
Champagne or beer?
Beer. Craft beer.
Wine or champagne?
Wine.
What type of wine?
I'm a big cab guy.
Okay. My friend, I don't know anything about wine. I'm just, when you're having a bad day, what do you do to make yourself feel better?
Hang out with Barkley.
That's exactly. Yeah, there you go. Walked right into that one.
Sure.
Yeah. Do you think cats have any regrets?
Cats?
No, those
Just
motherfuckers
using
are
up that
soulless.
last ninth life, I think.
Yeah, dude.
Besides that, I think they're solid.
They are, dude. Honestly, they take care of themselves. They're independent. Like, they don't need no love from nobody. Like, if they want love, it's because they want it, not because like they're asking for it, dude. It's crazy.
Right.
Which movie sequel do you wish you could erase from history?
Lord of the Rings, probably.
Why?
Yep.
Because it took up like 9 hours of my life, and I'm not happy about that. Like so we were in like elementary school, and my friends were like, "Oh yeah, let's have a sleepover." I was like, "Yeah, I'm totally down." We stayed up all night. We were watching the Lord of the Rings, and I was like, by the end of it, I was like, "I'm gonna be tired tomorrow, and this wasn't worth it."
Really, The Hobbit, my precious?
I didn't. It didn't work for me.
I agree.
Who is the kindest person you know?
Probably Anthony Manzon.
He is nice. He's really nice.
If you know him like on a personal level, that guy is patient, understanding. I feel he's
very,
really
like,
kind guy.
Cool, calm, and collective.
Yeah,
Like, super chill.
He's a really good guy, man.
Nice. Shouts out Anthony, man. So this last question is basically you have to repeat after me and fill in the blank. All right?
Okay.
So here we go.
You can say to this camera right here, okay?
My name is blank, and I get my energy from...
My name is Kevin, and I get my energy from my past experiences.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Anything you want to say before we head out, bro? Any questions for us?
Thanks for having me, man. Cheers. This
Cheers,
was a
bro.
blessing.
Fuck yeah.
You've come a long way.
I appreciate that,
it's
bro.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
You too.
And hopefully we can get together outside when the mics are
for
off,
sure,
when
bro.
the cameras aren't
Definitely,
rolling, and have a good time.
have a good
you know what I
time.
mean?
Yeah, shoot the shit.
Get some beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, and I know you like craft beer, so I know where to meet up with this guy. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. Like always, if you haven't subscribed to YouTube, if you haven't followed us on Instagram, please go do that right now. We'll love you more than we did yesterday. And like always, we just appreciate you guys' overwhelming support, and we hope that you guys continue on getting value from our podcast, and just, all your reviews and your love is much appreciated. So keep sharing this with everybody and anybody, your tias, your ex-girlfriend, your tia. Again, it doesn't matter. Share it with everybody, guys. We love you guys, and energy out.
Oh yeah, that was dope.